What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Mariah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing? What's up?
Happy to go. It's happy to be back. Happy for it to be the start of the season. I'm fired up.
Woohoo!
I can't wait to watch the Cowboys lose. Like we're so back.
Yes, finally. Real football today. I was just talking to my wife before we went live and I told her like I really wish both teams could lose, but like I'm just excited to watch football. So yes, back. The 49ers get to play this weekend, like meaningful football. It feels like it's been so long since we watched the 49ers actually play meaningful football because even like let's be honest, towards the end of last season, like those games didn't freaking matter either. Like we knew we weren't going anywhere, So yeah, vibes seem to be up. Listening to the press conferences and everything, it seems like everybody's ready to go. So let's hope that this season is better than last season. Chat, what's up? Happy to go Thursday. Hope everybody is doing great. Rob, appreciate you so much. Throwback, appreciate you as always. Don, what's good, sis? Hope you're doing well. Daniel Barry, what's up? Everybody that's out there, what's good? Please make sure you like, subscribe to both channels. We appreciate you all. Steph, so as I was, looking around, I started to notice like this little trend that seems to like a lot of these so-called talking heads or, whatever the fuck they're called these days, all seem to be doubting the 49ers this season. Now, I don't know if it's just because, like a lot of people seem to hate us for some reason, or it's because the 49ers were ass last year. So, like, that's rolling into their predictions this season. Like, I'm not really sure, like, because, like, when I'm like paying attention to the stuff coming out of training camp and all this, like, there's no reason for me to like doubt, like, yeah, okay, it's a young team. We don't know like a lot about these players, but like, I'm not like looking at this team and thinking like, oh shit, this team's gonna be ass. Like I'm worried, we're gonna be in the bottom of the NFC. Like none of those thoughts ever crossed my mind. Yet when I'm reading like all these things that all these like predictions, it's like these people think we're gonna be ass. Like I'm just not understanding. So let me get your thoughts. Let's go through the NFC West, and then we'll go to the NFC and then the NFL overall. So NFC West, Steph, when you look at obviously these four teams in the NFC West, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, give me a ranking of how you think that the season's going to turn out for these teams.
Well, I mean, if everything goes well for these teams, and not just for the 49ers, right? I think I got to be fair and think like a best case scenario for all these teams. I think they can all be in it. I'd actually put the Seahawks like close to the bottom along with the Cardinals. Although I do think the Cardinals defense is going to be very much improved this year. The only thing that could really hold them back is Kyler Murray, right? Does he show any growth? Is the connection with Marvin Harrison Jr. going to be any better this year? Those are the big questions. But I think every team has a chance. I think if I'm going to start going into like negative town for some of these teams and the reasons why they won't make it, like I think as far as the Rams goes, Stafford, like is his back going to hold up for the full season, right? I think that's a valid enough concern, right? But Stafford also has been known to play through injury. Like even if it seems like impossible, he will still go out there and gut it out any way that he can. But maybe it won't be at 100%, right? I think that can, of course, hinder their passing game, which, could hinder their entire offense. So I think that could be the downfall for the Rams this year. And as far as the 49ers go, like they have a lot of young players. Are all these players going to pan out right away, right? Like they're going to be some growing pains. I think we expect that as much, right? Is Jake Moody going to drop some games for them? That's a question as well. Is health going to be on the right side for them this year? After the training camp that they just had, I think that's a valid concern, although it seems like they're trending in the right direction now. So, I do see the 49ers as a team that is gonna be right in the mix in the NFC West. I think they'll be on the top end of it. But I feel like all of these teams, at least for the last couple years, have kind of all been really close in where they are as far as their records go. At least last year, it seemed that way, that for much of the season they were kind of around the same record or just one or two behind the others. So that gives me hope, though, that the 49ers can not only be in the mix, but be at the top of the NFC West if all things go well for them.
Yeah, last season we were all pretty even, all assish. So, yeah, because the post that I had seen, specifically about the NFC West, I was so shocked because they had the 49ers last, like dead last in the NFC West. And I'm just like, where, how, like what? Very odd. And yeah, like that's my concern. Like, are the Rams going to be having Jimmy G as their fucking quarterback, like 5 games into the season? I hope so. That will be wonderful to see. Like, I will love that for Rams fans, especially after they gave us so much shit about Jimmy G. And then like Arizona, like I just have no like faith whatsoever in Kyler Murray. Like, I just don't think he's great. I don't know. That team is just always very weird. And then the Seahawks, like, I think I honestly think that, like, with all the changes they made, like their biggest thing is like Sammy D is their quarterback. Like, is he going to see ghosts? Is he what? So very interested to see how this NFC West shakes out. But yeah, I was shocked to see that people are putting the 49ers, and this isn't just like fans or just like, content creators. Like, this is NFL talking heads. Like, this is what they do for a living, and they're putting the 49ers dead last in the NFC West. So yeah, very shocked to see that. Then the NFC overall, there was a poll, and the poll had the 49ers 7th best in the NFC overall. Do you think, is that a fair spot, Steph? Where would you have the 49ers? Obviously, I'm not having you go through all the friggin' teams, but do you think that they would be higher, lower? Do you think that's fair?
I feel like that's fair for not having seen what this team looks like yet, just kind of a projection. I feel like that's fair. I do think the 49ers, like I said, will be right in the mix. I have them being a wild card team this year. So yeah, I would say 7 is fair for the NFC picture.
Yeah, I did feel much better about that one because I'm like, well, okay, but
can't have it all.
And now the NFL overall rankings had the 49ers 18th. Now, real quick, let me just go through these teams that they had in front of the 49ers, okay? 17th, let's start there. Okay. In front of the 49ers, 17th, the Bears. 16th, the Broncos. 15th, Vikings. 14th, Cardinals. 13th, Texans. 12th, Rams. 11th, Tampa Bay. 10th, Chargers. 9th, Lions. 8th, Bengals. 7th, Washington. 6th, Steelers. 6th, Steelers. 5, Green Bay. 4, Buffalo. 3, Kansas City. 2, the Ravens. And 1, the Eagles.
Who put out this ranking again?
Ralph, somebody in the NFL. Ralph Vacciano. I don't fucking know. But NFL, okay. Fox NFL fucking shit.
All right. Well, remind me to never look at any of his content again, because why are the Steelers 6? Like, that, aside from getting a washed up Aaron Rodgers added to this team and trading for DK Metcalf, pretty much swapping Metcalf for Pickens, like,
yeah,
what did they do to really improve their team exponentially enough to be at 6? Like, that's
crazy.
insane. I think that's the one that bothers me the most, and it bothers me so much that the entire list could just go in the trash. Because like, I don't want to listen to anyone about where the 49ers are in this list. If they're gonna have the Steelers that high, like I don't even want to have a conversation with this person. So you can't reason with anyone who has that kind of thought process.
The only one in the NFC West that they had worse than us is the Seahawks, and they had them at 21st.
Yeah, that's
very, very odd. But yeah, the Bear, like, crazy.
Yeah, the Bears, you said the Bears were like ranked right before the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think like everyone's drinking the Ben Johnson juice, and I think he's great, right? Like he did great things with the Lions, but he doesn't have that same personnel, and I think Caleb Williams is someone who's gonna have to unlearn, I think, some bad habits from his game that's gonna have that offense looking maybe a little clunky at first. And yeah, it's gonna take them some time. I wouldn't put the Bears ahead of the 49ers right now.
Yeah, very strange. Of course, we'll see how this season turns out, but I found quite a few of those pretty laughable. Let's get into this. The 49ers named their captains, Steph. 8 captains. We got Fred, Kittle, Trent, Brock, CMC, Nick, Juice, and Diamador Lenore. 7 of them all been captains before. Obviously, Diamador Lenore, the new captain there. Super excited for him. Well deserved. I've been predicting this since last season that Lenore would be a captain this year. You could just tell he was putting in the work. He's like fitting right in line. And that guy has just been so awesome. So glad to see that happen for him. Any surprises here, Steph? Anybody you think that should have gotten a captain spot that didn't?
No, I mean, it's pretty much status quo, the same guys that they've had, swapping Debo for Demo. Yeah, I'm happy for Lenore, getting that shot at being a captain. Very much deserved for where he's at in his career now, having earned the extension, now being a leader to the DB group. I'd love to see that for him. I think he embodies the type of mindset that you want any of your DBs to have, which is just this delusional amount of confidence, and it worked for him because he could back it up, right? Like, you just love that. So yeah, happy to have him a captain. I don't think there's anyone else I could think of that should be on this list.
I could see a name that I would take off the list, but that's another story for another day.
I know who you're gonna say.
Let's talk about some of these guys that we got back. Obviously, well, let's start with Jennings, since they did a little rework to his contract. I love that Kendrick Bourne was in the building, seeing about a return, and then all of a sudden Jennings is back at practice that day. He's feeling good. His injuries are no longer. And then, it comes out that the 49ers gave him a little $3 million of incentives added to his contract. Still gives him a chance to, hit the open market after the season, get a bigger contract, whether that's with the 49ers or not. John Lynch did speak and said, that they are still working towards getting him a longer, an extension. We'll see, how that goes. Thoughts on that $3 million incentives? Do you think, I haven't seen no actual details. I'm not sure if they've come out or not. But like, do you think that he's going to get enough playing time to even be reaching incentives? Like, what do you think about this $3 million incentive stuff?
Yeah, you're right. We don't have the details yet of what it really entails. Like, will it be snap count? Will it be games played? Or that he suits up for? Will it be based on receptions? We don't really know all of that. But I'm happy for him. Like, I do think, it was fair after the season that he had last year for him to, probably try to get as much money as he can out of the situation. But at the same time, I want him to get paid. I just don't think the 49ers should dish out all this money to
Mhm.
Juwan Jennings. When I was hearing the 20 million number, I was like, hey, like if you could get that from another team, like, go for it. Just I'd rather it not be the 49ers. But the 3 million, I think we could all live with that. And if it makes him happy enough to be on the field for the 49ers this season, then it's a win-win for both sides. I think as far as what happens after this year and, if they're able to work out a long-term contract, I think it has to be within a certain like parameter for it to make sense for the 49ers, because I do feel like the 49ers have allocated resources to moving on from certain guys like Debo, like Juwan Jennings, having drafted several receivers in the last couple of drafts. I think the plan is to get cheaper at the position while, Ayuk is the one getting the bag. I don't think it makes sense for several of these guys to be getting paid
Mhm.
handsomely, right? So that's just not very sustainable. But yeah, I'm all for him getting the bag. Just don't think it'll be from the 49ers this year because, I think he's pretty set on probably testing the market and seeing what other teams are going to be willing to offer him, because I could imagine it'll be more than what the 49ers are willing.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably, I would expect that if the 49ers and Jennings don't get a deal done before this season is up and he actually tests the open market, that, we can pretty much say goodbye to him because like I just don't see, maybe if they weren't paying Ayuk all that money, they would be, maybe more willing to give him a little bit more, but that 20 million number, I just don't see that happening. And especially when you're already paying a wide receiver all that money that Ayuk's making. So, but hey, I hope he has a great season, and if he plays himself into an even bigger contract with somebody else, I wish him all the best. Let's talk about some other guys that we got back. I'm looking at this, the official, report hasn't been put out, but I'm looking at the one from yesterday, and we had 3 players that didn't practice yesterday. That was Uter Gross Matos, Jordan Watkins, and Trent Williams, which he was just on one of his Trent Williams days. The other 2 actually did return to practice today, Steph. So this practice report is actually, during
it's crazy.
Partway through, like leading up to this point, like we're all pretty worried, just seemed like every single day, just injuries. Steph and I, like we talked about it, we couldn't even keep up because there's just every time I opened freaking social media, it was another injury they were telling us about, and even still, like you look at this practice report, it's like the 49ers list is like this big and the Seahawks is like this big, right? And yet, hey, shit, like we're looking pretty good. Steph, what you think about this? Did we have like some miracle? Did they call him the witch doctor or what?
Well, I mean, I begged whoever had the 49ers voodoo doll to just please stop finally, and I think they did. Yeah, no, that's an insane turnaround actually from where we were even just like 2 weeks ago talking about the same topic to everyone's back practicing, like everyone on the 53, and even if you like go to the guys on the practice squad as well, like all those guys healthy practicing, like that's a huge development. I'd say I'd still don't expect Jordan Watkins or Gross Matos to be active for week 1, but this team is trending in the right direction. I want to see it continue, obviously, going into the season. I think these first 2 games that they're going to have on the road, on turf, is going to be a challenge. If they could get through those 2 games mostly unscathed, I mean, it's football. Guys are going to start, getting nicks and bruises here and there. But if they could get mostly unscathed, I'd feel really good about where things are headed.
Yeah, I agree. Why is my shit so like I look like I'm in fucking static TV? Why is my shit so fuzzy?
It's like the light. It's the light. You got like light peeking through the bottom.
Oh, from the window. Okay. I just looked around like, dang, it's looking crazy up there. All right, let's get into this week 1 game, Steph. 49ers go to Seattle, somebody obviously we're very familiar with. And now, we got brothers on both coaching staffs, like a lot of familiar guys. We talked, Sammy D over there leading the charge now. What are we expecting to see, Steph, from the 49ers, from the Seahawks in this game? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think from the Seahawks side, offensively, I think they're going to look to pound the ball. I think immediately that's probably a good game plan for anyone facing the 49ers the first couple weeks of the season. You kind of just want to see, like, hey, this team was awful against the run last year. Are they still awful? Well, we're going to try and see if we can run against them and see just how much they've improved, if at all. So yeah, I think we're going to see the Seahawks, who already like to run the football anyway, with Kenneth Walker, and I think even Zach Charbonnet will probably be in the mix a little bit more this year. I think that's something that the 49ers will have to prove that they're better at right out the gate. And what I would like to see, of course, is the 49ers stop the run and force Sam Darnold to throw. Then you could start putting pressure on him and, confuse him, see what happens next, right? It could only be good things. On the defensive side for the Seahawks, I think they got a lot of really talented pieces, across the board. And I think Mike Macdonald's going to, do the things schematically that he's been known to do, especially like with his time with the Ravens. Different personnel, of course, but I think the scheme is really what has the potential to, maybe confuse Brock. As Throwback says, you probably see some simulated pressures that, the Seahawks are going to run, disguising coverages, things like that. So, yeah, I think the 49ers have to have a plan for that. Hopefully, we see that level of maturity from Brock Purdy to kind of, suss out the situation and what they're doing in their coverages, as well as their pressures, pre versus post snap looks. And hopefully Kyle can adjust to that as well. I mean, against Seattle, like the last few matchups in which they've had a lot of success, like I feel like Kyle has kind of found a player or two that he could sort of pick on in recent memory. It's been their linebacker group with the Seahawks that, has kind of been something that, they can exploit, especially with Kittle. So I do expect that. I think the 49ers are going to try to run the ball as well with Christian McCaffrey back. I think you want to see right out the gate, like what you can get from Ricky Pearsall, and I'm excited to see that as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the biggest question is, how are the 49ers going to adjust to what the wide receiver room looks like right now? I mean, yes, Jennings expected to play, but I think slightly shorthanded, right? Like, I don't know if he's going to play all of the snaps. So what does that look like? Does that mean more 2 tight end sets? Does that mean, more 2 running backs, in the backfield, or McCaffrey split out wide, right? That would be interesting. So yeah, I guess looking forward to that. That still could be a mixed bag on offense with, different groupings, but I think it'll be a good chess match.
I definitely hope we see that 2 running back sets a lot more. It seems like when Kyle was talking about it, I don't know what the deal is with Garendo. Hopefully we get to see him sometime, but I don't know. It seems like he's inching his way right into Kyle's doghouse. I don't know. Kyle just seems weird when he talks about like I don't know. But with having CMC being able to do everything that he can do, and if we actually have a running back in there that Kyle can trust, behind CMC, maybe we actually get to see, more of that double running back sets. Like, I would love to see more of that, especially with our wide receiver situation the way it is, because even though these guys are healthy, like I don't know how confident I still am with this wide receiver group. I'll feel a lot better when BA gets back, obviously, but until then, I guess we'll see how these young guys do. Steph, give me an offensive player of the game and a defensive player of the game.
All right,
Predict
it's perfect.
Who's gonna be sticking out for us?
This is perfect because I did, give a prediction of this earlier in my show. The easy answer is Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to give you an easy answer, so I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall on offense. I think he's going to get the ball early and often in this game. I think Kittle's like the low-hanging fruit as well, and he's going to be involved. He has good games against Seattle, but I do think the Seahawks are going to make him a focal point of their defense, right? So I think that has a potential to open things up for Ricky Pearsall, still unproven across the league. So I think, defenses just probably won't respect him to the same degree that they do Kittle and Christian McCaffrey right now. So those guys are going to have their own orbit, and it's going to open things up for Pearsall. So I'm going to go with him on offense. And then defensively, I'm going to say Demo because, he's always a dog, but, for some reason, he hates the Seahawks just as much as we do, which I very much appreciate. He was upset even that DK Metcalf got traded away. This is hilarious. And now, he's on Jackson Smith and Jigba's back. So he's going to shut him down, I think, in this game, maybe even pick off Sam Darnold. I'd love to see that. So I'm going to say Demo.
I love that. And yeah, I loved hearing him talk about, the matchup. And I loved watching the matchup, because especially with the way DK, if you picture the way DK looks standing next to Amador Lenore, it's such a huge difference of the way they look, right? And Amador Lenore just being there battling, he's just the size of DK, the size he could give a fuck less, nothing scares that guy. I love just his confidence. And like you said, his the overconfidence, and that's what you want from your starting corner. That's the exact attitude that you want to see from that position. So yeah, I love that. I love that, and I always say he's the 49er that reminds me of us, the most, of just one of us, the way he talks shit, the way he the things he says, the way he acts, he's just one of the faithful at heart, so yeah, I love that. Can't wait to see those battles. And I love the Ricky P. I'm so excited to see what he can do. They talked about him just being able to just get this chunk of practices to string together, with the preseason games. And he hasn't been able to string together all these and be healthy, and they said how much he's just come along these last couple of weeks being able to, be healthy and put this time in and stuff. So I'm super excited to see what he's going to do out there. And obviously we need him, right? The 49ers need him to be a dude. So get in there and be the dude, Ricky. Steph, you know what time it is? Score prediction time, Steph. Score freaking prediction time.
Oh, we're going to write these down. We're going to track them throughout the season. What are we doing? Do you remember who won last year?
Yes, you did, Steph. I already know.
Thank you.
And you're not going to win this season, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Last season was last season. The 49ers sucked last season too. It's okay. So I already have mine written down. I'm going 17-23 49ers.
Oh my God. I gave a prediction on Tuesday, on Bully Ball on a whim. I hadn't even thought about it before. And I already forgot what I said. Anyone who watched Bully Ball and can tell me what I predicted, please. No, it was some random number. It was here.
Chat, give me your prediction.
Did you give your prediction?
Yeah, I gave mine.
What was it?
17-23.
17-23. The 49ers win, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
Dang, Foot's taking Seattle. That's crazy.
What? Dang.
Okay, I'm trying
to find my okay. Oh, I'm trying to find what I said. Hold on. I don't want to deviate from what I said literally 2 days ago because I feel like I'm onto something. Okay, I said 24-19. Kind of close
49ers?
actually to like some of the scores that we're getting here, like 24-17. A lot of you saying 24-17. That's interesting. Okay, so this is 24-19. Don says 25-17. 24-17, but in favor of Seattle. Yeah.
What's up, McNiner?
19.
Let's see. I think the Niners roster has been getting way overhyped by Niner content creators last few weeks.
I mean,
it's a lot of unknown, you know. So
yeah, but like, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. We're all fans, right? Like a lot of us, like content creators, are fans. We are gonna be just a little biased and maybe overhyped. But what I did say about the 49ers is, especially on defense, I could see this defense being better than I thought it was going to be right away. Like, because I thought that this defense was going to really struggle, like, to start the season. And they might. Like, I think there's going to be some moments, some plays where we're like, oh, in, second half of the season, like, they make that play, And so I think there's going to be some mistakes. You'll see rookies who, like, make a rookie mistake, and you're just like, ah. But having seen what I saw in camp, and then also in the early parts of the preseason, players that actually mattered playing in there, I feel like they're going to be better. Like, based on what Robert Saleh is going to be doing, they have a much higher floor than they did last year. So, and the offense, I'm not too worried about. Like, if they have the guys, like, yes, you could say you're worried about the wide receivers. I say, okay, use Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, and Pearsall. You have guys. You have guys to combat the issues at a wide receiver, and you still have Kyle Shanahan. So I don't make excuses for this offense if they're healthy, and they're healthy. So that's my reason for, I don't want to say I'm overhyping them. Like, I think it's fair to think they could be better than they were last year, especially on defense, because it's hard to be any worse than they were last year.
Shit, I'm expecting us to be better than last year on the defense because our coach, the defensive coordinator, is way better than that old fucking hippie that we had last year.
Hippie. Oh, man.
Like, holy shit. Me and Steph could have coached the defense better than that fucking guy did. Like, good Lord. Like, if Saleh can't get this fucking defense better than last year, like, holy shit. Even with, I don't care, they're all toddlers out there. Like, good Lord. Like, that guy was terrible.
Oh my God.
Like, fucking terrible, man. Let's talk about this that Throwback had said. All right, now let's get into Kyle Shanahan being ranked as the best offensive play caller according to his peers. I know Steph talked about this with Ponte and Larry. So yeah, the peers of Kyle Shanahan says he's the best offensive play caller. Now, I think it was Foot had put in, or, maybe it was somebody else, but had said, they would rather the best overall head coach and not just, some guy that can, call plays great. Your thoughts on this? Do you think, do you think it's great, or,
I mean,
him? What are your thoughts?
Him getting ranked at the top, I think, says a lot, and it should hold weight to everyone because it's coming from the people who have to game plan against him, and we do know that Kyle Shanahan does have some certain defensive coordinators that he does struggle with, certain schemes. And, I would say even for some of those guys, they would respect Kyle Shanahan as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's fitting where he's at as a play caller. I would say he's the best, and, supported by now all these defensive coordinators who or defensive play callers who have to say similar. And I would even agree with what they say is his shortcoming, which is the protections and that being able to be exploited at times, right? I think that's the one thing from a coaching standpoint, and there's not really so much the play calling, but from a coaching standpoint, or just in general, he's very stubborn, right? So I think if he shows an ability to, give Brock Purdy the freedom at any point to maybe set his own protections, to make adjustments at the line, I think that would take him to the next level of where he's at, as a play caller and as a head coach.
Yeah.
But until then, obviously that's like the one Achilles heel that he's going to have. And no coincidence that, these offensive play callers noting the same thing. And I think so until that kind of changes, you're going to continue to see like good defensive coordinators with good schemes and good personnel, being able to have an upper hand in the battles there.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think he's a great play caller, obviously, but that's my number one thing against him is that stubbornness, like his willingness to, like, if you see that something keeps beating you or something keeps freaking happening, like, it's like he just wants to keep going. Well, this is how I do it, so I'm going to keep going out there and fucking doing it this way. It's like change, grow, like, like you said, let your quarterback change shit. Like, grow as the game's growing. Don't just keep going out there and doing the same thing that you and your dad did fucking 30 years ago because that's what worked. And like, we're never going to grow and change. And, it's just like, fuck, like you're going to keep losing Super Bowls if you're never going to fucking change the shit that cost you the fucking Super Bowls in the first place. It's just like that's the shit that drives me fucking nuts about him. Like, yeah, he's a great play caller. And, there's probably 99% of the other head coaches I wouldn't trade him in for, but it's like, he has to grow and expand just like anybody, just like the players, just like, in any freaking line of work that you have in your life, anything in relationships, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to be willing to grow and change as the things around you change. And like, up until this point, like, have we seen a lot of that from him? I don't think so. So that would be my one, biggest knock against Kyle.
Yeah, I think every year, I think you kind of see a little more trust in his quarterback, in Brock Purdy, right? I think that has helped a little bit, but every year it's just like a little peeling back the onion just a little bit further. So I'm just curious, like, how far can it go as far as how much he'll trust Brock Purdy?
Mm-hmm.
Will he get to a point where he feels comfortable and they have a comfortable enough relationship and communication with each other that Brock Purdy could take that on at some point, take the training wheels off, so we'll see. I think I won't be surprised if there's another layer this season, whether it is the protection thing or something else that, we do kind of see Brock and his relationship with Shanahan and what he's allowed to do, little flourish a little bit this year.
Yeah. Last thing before we get out of here, Foot brings up that there's a real chance of real rain is going up by the day for this matchup, Steph.
I'm saying 45%, but literally like all of next week in Seattle is supposed to rain. 45%. I don't love that, obviously. I think for this 49ers team that I don't know why, like, can it just not rain for one season opener?
It's always like our week one game, like
like why? I think next year's game should be either at home or in a dome.
Yeah.
To eliminate that risk. Yeah, I mean, obviously if it rains, we're talking about a whole different ball game and one that would more than likely benefit Seattle over the 49ers. I think that would be fair to say.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking at that game a whole lot different if it rains, because for whatever reason, Brock and the rain did not get along. The
Turns
rain
into a
and
pumpkin.
yeah, like I don't know what the deal is, but and not even just Brock, like it's like half the team fucking forgets how to play because they get a little rain on them. Like it's very strange. Like, you know, we can see all these other teams like play in rain, snow, hail, fucking tornadoes, like just fine. And the 49ers get a little fucking bit of rain and it's like they can't play. Like I don't know, but yeah, but that's definitely a big factor going into this game. Hopefully, we can get through it with not too much rain. Steph, what else you got going on?
Well, earlier today, I had my first Thursday show of the season with Wayne Breezy. So that's going to be a show happening every Thursday, third and Thursdays, as we're going to call them. And we had a new segment in there called Third Down Conversions. So make sure you guys check out that show. It's on my channel from earlier today. Had a lot of fun with that one. And then tomorrow, going to be doing my preview show with KP. We like to go pretty in depth with those. So excited for that, because we'll also break down just some of the changes from Seattle's side, new players they've brought in, and what the 49ers are looking at to go up against.
Yep. That's always a great show. Glad that one is coming back. So definitely make sure y'all check that out. Make sure you guys are tuned in with Steph, whatever she's bringing you throughout the week. And then as always, her and I will be back every Thursday from here on out through the season. So make sure you tune in. We appreciate you all. Yeah. Steph, I appreciate you as always. Chat, you guys are amazing. Have a great night today watching football, and a great Sunday, fun day. Football's back, baby. Let's go get this dub.
Let's go.
Until next week, we out. Let's go. Peace.